Hey y'all, I'm doing this because I've had some people that have been um, coming to me over Facebook or just friends, and they they've been asking me, how is it so easy for you to step into heaven and to see Jesus the way that you do? And I think I was just thinking back to that old song, I Can Only Imagine. Oh my goodness, I used to hate that song. And I think it was because I realized that we don't have to just imagine. Um, it begins there, but there is something so much deeper. We don't have to wait till we die. We don't have to wait till the Lord returns. It's deeper than that. They The Bible says we are seated in heavenly places with Christ. That means that there's a layer of us, there's part of our spirit that is in heaven, seated with Christ. And He is always waiting for us to be aware of what's happening. Um, Even while we're here, if we're doing dishes, I always go for that, but I think it's because I'm a mom. Or if we're working on a car, or driving, or playing with our kids, we can see with our physical eyes, but we have the ability to see with our spiritual eyes. But so many people don't realize how simple it is because they're afraid of it. They don't understand it. But I really believe that the eyes of our spirit begin with what we see in our mind. It's our imagination. And so many people think, oh, imagination, that's a vain thing, that's sinful. But God redeems our imagination just like He can redeem our body, He can redeem our spirit. He created us with an imagination, and it's in that imagination that He builds up and frames up for us what is happening in the spirit and what is happening in heaven. The simplest way to say this is the way I have kind of learned is if you can close your eyes and imagine a purple elephant, then you can see. If you can read a book, and when you read a book, those pictures become almost like a movie in your mind, and you can imagine what it would be like, then you can see. Now, obviously, those things are imaginative, but it is through that God can frame up through words or through what we see as we close our eyes and think on something. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but for me, I have always done it in this way. I have pictured what Jesus looks like. Now, if you are afraid that you might get it wrong, it's okay, because Jesus can appear to us in different ways. But if you feel like you have a picture of Jesus that is your favorite, think on that picture, or just think of His hands, and allow Him to just imagine yourself reaching out your hand to Him and asking to step in with Him. And just like He did when He died on that cross, He tore the veil that separates us from God. So through Him is the doorway into heaven. And if we can close our eyes and imagine His hand, or you can imagine a door, and that door being open and Jesus is there with us, and He's inviting us to step in. And as we, by faith, that means choosing to do it even if we don't completely understand it, but step in and walk in with Him and look at Him face to face. You can look around you. When I look around, I see beautiful, it's like the glory of God and His light shining around about us. And I always see to the right of the throne room gates. There's a gate on either side of the throne, and beyond that gate, it's like grass, but it's more beautiful than our grass. And there's a bridge that goes over the river of life. And I have so many places I go with Him in heaven, and you may go somewhere different. There's been times where I have stepped through and He's taken me to what looked like almost like the Milky Way galaxy, and we were looking over His creation. There's been times that He's taken me to what I consider like my heavenly home. It says, He's creating a place for us in heaven. And that He's prepared a place for us, that we can dwell and have a relationship with Him, and just have that intimate friendship, that intimate love, that into being a bride or being a friend or sitting with your Father and encountering Him. Sometimes people can just close their eyes and do it, but sometimes people have trouble because we get distracted. And I have to be honest, there's times that if I'm not writing, my mind will go off into what I need to do for the day. But one, if you can quiet yourself down enough to focus, it's amazing just to close your eyes and go there. For me, lately, my tool to be able to step in has been to journal. So I actually write as I see it in my imagination. And it's almost like, kind of like telling a story, but the words are the pictures that I'm seeing as Jesus is taking me places. And it's been amazing. I don't know if you want to check out, I'll see if I can put a link in this description of this post, but to my WordPress post about my time with the Father in heaven. It was with the Father and Jesus, and that was just through journaling and seeing what He was showing me and typing it as I went along. It takes practice, but don't be ashamed if maybe you only see a little bit at first. It's kind of like a baby's eyes. It takes time, but you'll find the more and more you step in and go to places with Him, it'll become easier and it'll become clearer. So I hope that's a blessing to you, and I just encourage you, and I pray over you, God, that you would just open the eyes of their heart, that they would see, and it would be simple. Father, that it would be a simple act of faith and just trusting and knowing that you are using our imagination. Father, would you cause doubt to go away when they're doing this? I struggle with doubt, but I'm just reminded of all the amazing times, and I remember and realize that the fruit of this is so wonderful as you do it more and more. So I hope this encourages you. Have a blessed day.